Yeah. Hey, here's some cliches that this writer in some website called Diply, Diply, is tired of.
Okay.
Here's one. A pregnant woman's water breaks, and she says, "The baby is coming now." that is not how. It's not how that works.
I always hate
characters.
birth scenes in movies with all the screaming and everything.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know it's painful and everything, but I don't know if I bristle at that. Maybe might be just a typical male view. We don't
Here's
like
another
to
one.
see women
Hanging
in
up the
distress.
phone without saying goodbye. You know what I love? I love when they say dinner tomorrow night. All right, and then they hang up and, well, where are you going? What time are you leaving? Like,
Oh,
what the
yeah.
hell? All right.
Annoying.
Here's another one. There's a big breakfast set up, but the husband, wife, or kid takes one bite and runs out the door.
Oh, that's typical in a lot of movies. You know, like they have a big plate of food and they eat 2 bites and leave. I guess that's because the food, like, really in actuality in the shooting of the piece has been sitting around for hours and they can't eat it. So
It could be.
Under the hot lights, it's getting kind of rancid. I know when I did my movie a long time ago, The Sheriff and the Satellite Kid, I was told, I was playing a fat kid, so I was given a sandwich to carry throughout the piece. Well, that sandwich, we were shot in the middle of the summer outside, and carrying that sandwich around, it became impossible to eat it because it just stank, and it just was not appetizing. That might be the reason why people never eat in movies.
Well, I always heard when they do eating scenes that they always have a spit bucket nearby that the actor, so they can, because if they eat too many times with multiple takes, they're obviously going to be sick, so they have a spit bucket. I think it was Tim Matheson who was talking about that on a recent podcast. I heard him, he said that he was talking about some scene where he had to do a lot of eating, and he said that typically they do use a spit bucket.
Of course, Tom Greaves.
Yeah.
Is who's the actor who was in Napoleon Dynamite? John Greaves. He's the son of the director Tom Greaves.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a vegetarian, and he was required in Napoleon Dynamite to eat these steaks in this scene, and he had to spit out the steaks, but he had to eat them like he loved it,
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing.
Tell you what, man, I've got a lot of stories about Tom and John Greaves. I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's another cliche. When a character says, "I didn't sign up for this," usually said by a police officer who, in fact, did sign up for this.
Good one.
That is a good one. And also, "I'm getting too old for this shit." That's always
that's another
been.
one.
When an animal is licking someone's face as they sleep, and they think they're being kissed by a beautiful woman.
That one goes all the way back to the old Our Gang comedies, because I remember.
That's true.
You remember the one where they're on the train and the guy and the guy, he's getting licked by a grizzly bear when the animals get loose on the train, and he thinks it's a woman. He's smiling, and he wakes up and there's a big grizzly bear about ready to maul him. That's been going on a long time.
The television always happens to be set to the exact channel with the exact news story playing right at the exact time when someone turns the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad one. You know what I hate too? More modern cliche is when you see stuff on a computer and like stuff popping up on the screen on the computer and it comes on with a beep or something. Beep, 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 beep. You know, computers, they don't make those sounds.
No, that's true.
You know, it's goofy.
Performers can easily pick out a loved one in a massive crowd with lights glaring on them. Which really, if you're on stage or something, you can't usually really see anything. You can't see shit.
That's right.
You can catch outlines of people in the opening or the first row.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I always get annoyed in Christmas movies, if you ever notice, when they're opening gifts, if it's a box, they always just take the lid off. They never unwrap it. It's like you can always just easily take the lid off. There's never any unwrapping going on. I've
Too
noticed
much
that.
tape.
I guess.
You know, my grandmother used to wrap Christmas presents, and she used to wrap them so you couldn't get them open because they had so much tape on them. She just enjoyed watching you trying to open it and failing. Oh, my phone is beeping.
Oh. Movies that are set
beep.
at least 100 years ago that feature characters with shockingly perfect teeth.
That's a good one.
Excellent.
When characters drive and the steering wheel is moving all over the place.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it when they're not
back
looking at the road.
Right.
Well,
I can't stand that.
They do a great riff on that in Airplane. You remember the scene where Robert Stack's being driven to the airport and he keeps turning the wheel and turning and turning and turning, and behind him the background and it changes.
He's running into bicyclists and stuff.
Yeah, he runs over bicycles, and then there's like suddenly a bunch of horses are charging at him in the background, and they turn this curve that looks like it goes for. It must turn a dozen times within a minute because they just keep turning the wheel. Oh yeah, that's great.
The film
awesome.
The background film gets progressively crazier.
Yeah, that's a great riff on that very same thing you're talking about.
The thing that I get sick of, the line that I get sick of more than anything, is they've been hunting this character down throughout the entire movie, and by the time they catch up with him and beat the crap out of him, and they're about to finish it off, they're always told he's not worth it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, what have we spent 2 hours doing here?
Yeah. I just remember when I saw Karate Kid Part 2, and again, I was a teenager, but I was so angry when that movie got to the end because you've been building up a good head of steam for 2 hours, with the Daniel character, and he finally gets the face off at the end. He's getting ready to he's got the opportunity to just pummel him, and then he grabs his nose and goes honk, honk, honks the guy's nose instead, and was supposed to laugh. I was so angry. I said, finish it, man. Come on.
The kid deserves to die.
Yeah, that's right. Well, for what he did through the course of the movie, I mean, he was merciless, and he's got his chance to get even the score, and he wants to turn it into a joke. I remember just being so angry. But yeah.
That'll be my sound clip of myself that I use for this show. That kid deserves to die. Yeah, of course it's all set up with Miyagi does it to the coach at the beginning.
Yeah, yep.
The Hong Kong thing.
That's true. Yeah, they got to pay that off. That's what it's all about. But somebody said, "Well, what did you want?" I said, "I wanted Dirty Daniel. That's what